Hi, welcome back to my Sober October challenge. I'm doing 31 days. I'm not smoking pot and I'm not drinking alcohol for the most part. Now, full disclosure, I have had a drink over the last week. I'm not mad about that. I made a very conscious decision to have a beer at the concert I went to, Chick Chick Chick. Here's some shots of that now. That was a wild concert. We had a great time, but I started out not feeling like having a great time. We're going to talk about that in a second. I am here today talking about withdrawal. That is marijuana withdrawal and the very real case of alcohol withdrawal, which is a lot more dangerous and important to deal with than marijuana withdrawal. And I'm going to start with the pot side of things. I've done a little research. There's not a lot out there. It's kind of new. Marijuana is not legal on a federal level, but there is some research. And coming from the American Addiction Centers.org, they talk about some withdrawal symptoms, and those are as follows. They say that you can have feelings of anger, irritability, and or aggressiveness, sensations of extreme nervousness or anxiety, disturbances with sleep that can include insomnia or very disturbing dreams and even nightmares, a decrease in appetite that may or may not be associated with a significant loss of weight, feelings of restlessness and general malaise, and the onset of feelings of depression. Now, I will say that I have felt all of those things this week. I really have. That is not a far reach from the things that I've kind of gone through. Feelings of anger, irritability, and aggressiveness, that's kind of where the drink came in at the concert. 3 days into not smoking pot, I was just mad about it. I wanted to smoke pot. I was irritable. I kind of attribute it or associate it with like smoking cigarettes. If you're a cigarette smoker, those same feelings of like wanting a cigarette kind of came through for the first couple days of not smoking pot. So I was angry and irritable. Listen to what my boyfriend has to say.
He was a bitch.
That's all real. Sensations of extreme nervousness or anxiety. I think that kind of just comes from those habits that we talked about in the last video. Check it out right here. It talks a little bit more about anxiety and kind of breaking through that. I don't think it's really a chemical thing. Disturbances with sleep. This has been interesting because I have slept straight through the night. And I have not done that for years. I sleep straight through the night and it's incredible. I'm just like, I go to bed and I wake up. And I used to wake up in the middle of the night and drink water, or, wander around or whatever, like every night. And I think that has to do with, and I haven't really looked up the research, but pot, and I've heard this somewhere, pot kind of affects how you get into REM sleep and how often you get into REM sleep, where your like eyes are doing the thing. And so my dreams have been out of control. I do not even remember dreaming the way that I have this last week, and that has been very interesting. That is real, but I'm sleeping straight through the night, and that is a pro. It's a pro. A decrease in appetite. We all know that pot gives you munchies. I have eaten a dramatic amount of potato chips in my life, and I am eating a dramatic less amount of potato chips in my life now. I eat less ice cream. I'm not overeating at the end of my day when I typically am more stoned, and that's important. That's going to help with weight loss, which is a pro. Feelings of restlessness and general malaise. Again, I think that comes from just not having that crutch to rely on, like where you smoke pot, because that's an active thing. Smoking pot and being stoned is an active thing. You are doing something. You are being stoned. But when you're not doing that, you kind of get restless with not having more to do. You have to kind of fill your time a little bit more, which is part of the reason why I'm doing this. I want to be able to accomplish more and put myself to task on more things. So that's been another great pro. All of these so far have been really good. The onset of feelings of depression. I do not have depression really as an adult. I know that all of us kind of have feelings of depression here or there, depending on what we're going through. I am not I don't think I'm very chemically imbalanced in that way. I used to be as a teenager, but I think that came from being in a very small town and they're a little bit more closed-minded. I would say a lot meaner things about you people, but I'm not going to because I'm really nice. Another big one that they don't really mention here is my mood has regulated 100%. And if you're somebody who smokes pot as much as I did, which is pretty much all the time, you'll notice that your mood goes like stoned, sobering up, stoned, sobering up, stoned, sobering up. Like I am now finally leveled out, and I wake up and I kind of just even keel throughout the whole day, and that's incredible to me, and it's something I didn't really expect. So if you're somebody who feels like you get kind of irritable at certain moments in the day, it's probably because you are relying and your body's relying on being stoned to give you some serotonin or make you happy or whatever it is. My mood is dramatically improved and it stays on an even keel, which is really, really nice. I'm really happy about that. Alcohol withdrawal, on the other hand, is a lot different. I have had I had a glass of wine and a beer at a concert, glass of wine, watching a movie earlier this week, and I think that's because I've realized that what's really important to me this month is staying marijuana free and just not being stoned. I'm still going to continue not drinking, but I have decided that like I am allowed to like go to a show or like go to a friend's house if they're having a glass of wine. Maybe I'll have a glass of wine. I am a moderate drinker. I don't drink a whole bunch. I definitely do not get drunk. I don't like being drunk. It makes me sick. I'm not a blackouter. If you are somebody who drinks a lot and you're trying to quit drinking and you really need help doing that, or you're trying to look for some information on that, I have it, a little bit of it. It comes from the Harvard School, the university, and their health department. And they talk about the symptoms like this. You can experience tremors. You can experience hallucinations. You can experience seizures. You can experience delirium tremens, which is DTs. I don't know if you've ever heard that before, but those are all very, very serious withdrawal symptoms that are chemically inside your body, and your body will malfunction essentially, and it's kind of dangerous. I've had friends who have just cut out, were heavy drinkers and just cut it out because they needed to or they thought they needed to, and then were admitted to the ER because their bodies essentially counteracted and they could have died. So if you are somebody who drinks a whole bunch and you need to stop drinking, you need to seek professional help because your body will revolt. Tremors are no joke. Hallucinations, seeing things repeating or things like that. Alcohol, seizures, that's really dangerous. And then DTs. Essentially what happens when you drink is your body starts producing more like serotonin, norepinephrine, I said that right, norepinephrine, serotonin, adrenaline. It starts producing those in larger quantities, and they compare that kind of to getting in a speedy car that has had the brakes taken out. Since you have stopped drinking, like the drinking kind of levels that out because your body's trying to equal out your chemicals. And if you take one part of that out, which is the drinking, your body will keep producing those chemicals inside, and it can really, really, really mess you up. So you need to seek professional help in those situations. I am not somebody who needs that. I just kind of cut out drinking because I lose weight and it kind of regulates my body, and I just want to I kind of want to reset and to refresh before we get into the crazy holiday season. As far as withdrawal symptoms go from alcohol, when you don't heavily drink, when you're somebody like me who just kind of moderately drinks, and like I'm saying, like I can have a glass of wine a night. I'm not saying that I drink once every 4 days. I'm saying I can have a glass of wine every night for a month, and that's something I have done. The withdrawal is a little different, and there may be some chemical dependency there, very, very little. But I think most of it comes from socializing and not having something to do. I have spent a lot of time not going out and doing things this last week because it kind of includes drinking, going out to the bar and hanging out with friends or going out to dinner. Like it's kind of like built into our socializing in society. So that I think is where those symptoms come from. You're just used to, again, it's a habit. You're used to doing something in order to get something out of it. and it's a little bit of a hump to get through. The first time I ever did a dry January, it was hard. I did not go to the bar. I did not push myself to do anything that was going to make me feel like I had to drink or I felt uncomfortable. And I highly suggest just taking that hit and just not doing anything for the month and just powering through, because it's going to be worth it. Now that I'm a little bit more experienced and I know how to kind of fight those things, it's kind of easy. Soda water with bitters and lime is really nice. A non-alcoholic beer kind of helps a whole bunch. The first time I ever had one, it was kind of like a placebo effect. I'm not saying it was great to like pretend like I was drinking, but like it kind of helps to have something in your hand, to kind of have the same flavor, to just be out with your friends and doing the same things that they're doing. But after an hour, you know, they all turn into idiots and you want to leave anyways. Yeah. So just kind of some things to touch base on there, and like my feelings on it are, this has all been great. I like the pros have way outweighed the cons, and I'll do a pro and con at the end of all this to kind of like point out why the pros are so much better, or why there are so many more pros than cons. But this week has been very eye-opening to essentially like my mood, the way I handle certain situations, and even like the amount of work that I've been doing with myself, keeping myself accountable by putting on this YouTube. This is kind of more for me, and I hope that there is, if anybody's out there watching this, you're finding some sort of information or support or whatever it is for when you're doing it, or if you're doing it, or whatever it is. Like, this is what I'm going through as somebody who smokes a lot of pot and drinks moderately. These are the things that I'm feeling, and so you can rest assured that it's all good. Like, if you are somebody who is gonna do the same thing, if you want to quit smoking pot because you smoke a lot of pot, or you want to quit drinking because you feel like you've been drinking a lot recently, that it's really good for you. You're gonna love it. It's hard at first, and it's supposed to be, because that's kind of why you've been scared to do it, or why you want to do it. It's gonna be hard at first, but you know what? It's gonna get 100 times better. 100 times better, and you're gonna be so happy that you did it. And I am here to tell you, as somebody who will rely on a vice for a long time, that I love it. I love it. It's very helpful for me to be able to do this. So keep at it. Stay strong. Fight through these little tinges. Do some research. Realize that those things are real and that they're there and it's a truth, and that you are allowed to feel them, and then you are allowed to get over the hump, and you will get over the hump. I'll be there to talk you through it, because I, at this point, know how it goes. Like and subscribe if you want to follow along and stay on top of this. You can turn on the notification button. That'll tell you when I post a video about this kind of stuff for the next couple weeks, and then we'll kind of get back into some less than regular broadcasting, but hopefully some new content that you can follow that will not be as heavy and probably a lot more fun than this. I hope that it's helpful. Again, like, you can do it. If I can do it, then you definitely can do it. I promise you that. Have a wonderful day. Thanks for stopping by.